Friday. I'm on my way over to Oceanside right now to record our Facebook Friday show. We're trying to do a different intro to kind of change things up on our YouTube channel. So we do this show live every Friday morning, and today is kind of a different one. It's fun. We're talking about money, and usually the Friday show is about business growth and strategies and things that you can do in your business is different. You know, it's not the social media side of things. It's really how to run your business better. And I think that, you know, the taboo subject of money and talking about money and all that is kind of foreign to a lot of people. So I'm just going to come out and talk about it today. I actually made a cool PDF for this video, which should be down in the comment section below. You can download a PDF for it. And I got the idea for this video from Tom Ferry. He's a real estate coach. You know him very well, I'm sure. He's been around for like 20 years. So if you don't know Tom Ferry, go look up Tom Ferry. But he talked about this in a class that I went to about 2 years ago. And it's really how the wealthy manage their money, right? So some people take their cash and just put it directly in their pocket and spend it from their commission checks. And he basically talks about the 80, 15, and 5 rule. And we're going to get into it in the video, so I won't spoil it for you. But if you don't have an LLC set up for your checks to come into, or you just put the money into your account and then spend it as you need it, this is the video for you. I don't think anyone's perfect, and I'm not by any means, but I know that most people have an opportunity to manage their money better than they probably are. And hopefully this video shows you guys how to set up your finances in a proper situation so that you can designate proper dollars for proper spending. I think the other thing that most real estate agents don't consider is taxes at the end of the year. Because you take chunks of money at $10,000 and $20,000 and $30,000 increments, you're not probably used to having this much money at any given time. And so the problem is when taxes are due, you've forgotten about it and you probably already spent that money, and now you have to ask for an extension or make payments or something like that. So this is going to help you avoid having those big oh crap moments in April when all your taxes are due. So go watch the rest of this video if you made it this far, and give me some feedback. I'd love to know kind of what your thoughts are on how you manage your money and what you're doing with your commission check. Do you take it in your personal account? Do you take it into an LLC? You know, how do you have that set up? So let's go get into the show and make this a great one. Hey guys, and welcome to Facebook Friday. My name's Eric. I'm under the Orange Stack, and we do the show live every Friday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. We got hung up today because I was trying to find a spot that wasn't in the direct sunlight, and there's a reason that we're on the corner here in Oceanside today. We're talking about money, your money, right? Your money. And the reason that I'm out here on this corner is this piece of property right here, this whole corner right here. That was the first piece of real estate that I had the opportunity to sell as a licensed real estate in the state of California, okay? So I got my license in the summer. These guys were thinking about selling their property because they thought that maybe the market was about ready to go. This is a few years ago, okay? I think it was 2014, so maybe 4 years ago. And they called up our brokerage, and I was new and basically had the opportunity to get a referral from the brokerage, you know, kind of a lead, something like that. So I followed up with them. What this was a vacation rental for these guys, and they've owned it for probably 20 something years. I think they bought it in the early 90s, if I recall. And this is downtown Oceanside, just to get your bearings right. The ocean's right over there. The pier's just around the corner. And beautiful place, okay? So they paid like $300,000 for this place, and you're literally across the street from the ocean. So awesome location. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath place. They've had it for a rental all this time. They actually live up in Orange County, so about 30 miles to the north of us, and they've never occupied the property. So it's always been a rental property for them. It's always been occupied. It's been a great investment for them. So they wanted to sell the place for $850,000, okay? $850,000. So huge increase in value, about $500,000 over the 20 years that they owned it. Good ROI, and it's always been rented, always cash flowed really well. They've never had really any problems with the tenants. Great HOA, good place to be. So they said, you know, let's think about selling it. What's going on though is that way about a block, they're building a hotel, and that way about a block, they're building another hotel. This is downtown Oceanside. So there's a lot going on here. And they thought, you know, we want to know what it's worth. Kind of losing my signal here. They were trying to see when the market was going to be timed on. This is 2014, so they're thinking, you know, maybe there's a little bit left. Maybe these hotels are going to bring some more value. I want to sell it for $1 million was their goal, and it was worth about $850. So they had a little ways to go, and so they re-rented it. I didn't have the opportunity to sell that house. I lost it. I couldn't convince them that now's the time to go. I thought, you know, as the hotel comes and traffic's going on over the next few years, it'll be an easier time to sell it now than later. Didn't happen. So I just looked this property up the other day to see what it was worth, and curious if they'd been able to reach their goal. Now this property, 4 years later, has gone up to $1.1 million. Okay, so now they have about $700,000 in equity in this property. So still a good opportunity, still a great cash flow. It's been a great investment for them. They've loved it. Again, it's just turnkey. They have a property management who covers it. They don't have to think about it. But the beauty of it is that when they bought it, they were able to qualify for, I think it was a 15% down payment on it, on the $300,000. So they put down roughly $45,000, and their ROI was incredible based on that, right? $45,000, which turned into $1.1 million, and their rent has been covered all this time. Big, big numbers, guys. If you're not in real estate investing and you haven't thought about what the potential outcome of what an initial investment on a rental property could be, you've got to think about that, and you've got to invest your money wisely. So that's why we're talking about money today. I learned this, I got my notes here. I learned this from Tom Ferry about 2 years ago in a video that I was watching, and it really had to do with where your money is and where the majority of most people are putting their money, okay? So most people, they take the real estate check and they put it into their personal account, you know, whatever that is. They have a personal bank account and they put it in that, and then they spend it. It goes into one account. And I've got this good diagram. We'll see if you can follow along here. So basically this says the check comes in and it goes out to their personal account, and their expenses are gone. You know, they spend it on house, they spend it on food, they spend it on real estate expenses, things like that, but it's just a personal account. They don't treat it very well. And Tom talks about the 80, 15, and 5 principle, meaning that 80% of the world is going to treat their money just like this. Money comes from their check directly into the personal account, and they spend it. What the 15% do, let me fold this paper so you can see it. The gardeners sound like they're about to show up here, so I might have to cut this video short. But what happens here is the 15% get their checks, and it goes into a business account. Now this is an LLC that you have set up. It's an account that, you know, is not your personal name. It's actually a business account set up. Talk to your accountant about this. I am not that guy. But know that you need to send this money into an LLC, something that's a corporation. It could be called ABC Real Estate. It could be the name. It could be Eric Hammond, right? Like your name, whatever your name is. Fill in the blank. Eric Hammond LLC. It could be anything you want to call it. But it needs to go into a business account. And what happens next is on the side, you have a tax account, you have a business expense account, and then over here you have your home account. Okay? So what you've done here is you take your checks, your real estate checks, and you divide them into thirds. So a third needs to go to taxes, depending on where you live. It might be way more than that. California, it's a lot more than a third. But for most of you, a third of your income is going to go directly into taxes. So put it there before you spend it, because at the end of the year, you're going to be like, hey, I made all this money. Where did it go? A third of your money should go into business expenses, and you can actually track that and put that and plan for it, and just know that about a third of your income needs to go towards your business expenses, and being able to plan for that ahead of time and be able to justify things. And this is talking about marketing expenses, it's your real estate license, it's putting a sign in this window so that you can sell this house, it's the expenses that you have as a business owner. So a third of your income, if you make a $10,000 check, $3,300 of it needs to go back towards your business, and a third of it needs to go towards your taxes. And then the last part here, the other box, is your home account. This is paying for your mortgage, paying for your utilities, paying for your food and your lifestyle and everything that you do, okay? So a third, okay? Third. And that's the easy way to do it. You can get more complicated than this. Maybe you say, look, I live in California, it's more expensive than this, I need more taxes, or I need more household income, but you've got to figure it out. But this is the easy way to do it. Divide it up. So that's what the 15% of the world does. Actually, let's make it more than 15% of the US probably does. Because the rest of the world is probably not doing this kind of a math either. Now here's what the 5% do. This is what the wealthy do. This is how the wealthy manage their money, and this is how people afford to buy a piece of property like this. 20 years ago, and set aside $45,000 and qualify for a mortgage and be able to have $700,000 in equity. Honestly, it's more like $1,050,000 in equity if you think about it, because their initial investment was $45,000. This is what they do, okay? It's a little bit more complicated, and by the way, there's a link in our video down below if you want to go download this. I made it into a PDF for you guys to download so that you can see us, because I think it's backwards and you're probably not going to be able to see it on the screen anyway. But let me just explain this. What happens is your checks come in and they go to your business account. Your business account always is going to receive that. You don't want it written out to Eric Hammond. You don't want it written out to your mom, your wife, anybody else, right? You want it written out to your LLC, whatever that is. Have it go to the LLC. Now, still, a third of your checks go towards your tax account. You got to save for your taxes right at the beginning. A third of your costs go towards your business expenses. That doesn't change. But what happens is the home money. You guys are going to take a third of your income and you're going to spend it. You're going to spend it on food and cars and watches and all those kind of things just because the money's there. But what happens if you had a plan for it? What happens if you took a third of your income and you saved it and set it apart for actual things that you were planning on buying, okay? So the first one is home expenses. You got to cover your household needs. Here comes the garbage truck. It's definitely going to get noisy over here. So a third of your money needs to go to your home expenses. You need to have a fun account. That was one of the other bubbles up here. Have a fun account. Have an account for going to the beach. Have an account for taking a vacation and staying in this rental property when you want. The next account is a 529B account, which is basically your kids' college funds, right? So you can save money for their college. The next account is your retirement account. Set money aside for your retirement, guys, so that you can retire someday. A life account. This is when, crap hits the fan and you say, look, I got to do something about this. The car breaks down, medical bills happen, stuff comes up. That needs to be one of your account. And then the last account here, which is the purpose of this whole video, is your real estate account. Super loud. Your real estate account is going to fund these types of real estate properties so that you can be savvy with your money, so you can set that $45,000 aside and be able to purchase it someday and be ready to go. So we might pick up the camera and go somewhere else here. But the point of this video was to say there's a lot that you can do with your money if you set it apart. Most people aren't going to be that savvy. They're going to spend it as fast as it comes into their pocket. And I'm trying to tell you guys that there's other options. There's other things that you can do with your money. Just go to your bank account, go to your bank today and say, look, I want to set up 5, 6, 7 more accounts, and I want to segregate where my money goes. I want to set it aside. I want a retirement plan. I want a household income plan. I want savings. I want to retire someday. And then name these accounts and automatically divert money into it. So when $10,000 comes into your account, 1,000 of it will go into there, and 500 will go into there, and 600 of it will go into there. But designate the spots that these things will go. And that way you're ready to go and you can have money for your future. Okay, sorry for the shaky video. This isn't what I planned. The garbage truck showed up. There's always somebody here in the background, but I appreciate you guys watching my show every week. One of the things that we're doing new is we're giving away a book every single month, you guys. I love business books. There's books on money, there's books on strategy, business growth, development, everything that you're doing in your life. If you sign up for our newsletter, there's a link below. You're going to be entered into a chance to win a free book every single month that we give them away. So put your name down, sign up for our newsletter list, be sure to subscribe and follow, and we'll get you on the list, and we'll see you on the next one.